Hello everyone and welcome to the Dash Crash Course. Okay, and we're going to continue from where we stopped from the last section, and we are moving on now to optionals. Okay, so we are going to break down on what are optionals and how to use them or how to make use of them. So we first of all start by creating a folder. So we come here on the bin, create optionals. Okay, create a file called optionals.dart, and from here we just open that in the terminal. Right click and choose the option open in integrated terminal, and yeah, you already have that open in your terminal. And to confirm, I'm just going to go ahead and write some code. Print hello world. Okay, and we're just going to run that to make sure everything is okay. Optionals.dart. Okay, that's fine. So now what are optionals? So optionals is a way of telling that it's a way of telling Dart, the programming language Dart, that an object can hold information regarding whether the value is present or not. Okay, I know it sounds pretty complex, but I'm going to try to break it down. So this, let's put it this way: either a variable contains a value or it doesn't. Okay, let's go ahead and take an example. So if we go ahead and say, for example, let me just put something here, optionals. Okay, so if let's go ahead and say okay, const string, let's just say address is equals to 123 main street. Okay, now this address is actually a variable, like we discussed in the last class. This is a variable, okay, and it holds this piece of information, this string that is highlighted here. It holds this. So to able to make this address optional, we come in front of the data type and add a question mark, thereby making it okay, yeah, because I made it a const. Let's just say final. Okay, so with that we're fine. Okay, so it does actually matter. So this is what it is. Okay, so this string here is an optional string, right? So that means it can contain or not contain a value. Okay, that means we can actually remove the string and say this. Okay, for example, let me first of all go ahead and print what is here. Okay, so we can better understand what is actually happening. I'm going to increase the height of my terminal a little bit. And okay, so you see okay, no print statement. So we're going to go ahead and print address. Okay, so okay, you get the 123 main street. Okay, so now what we mean by it cannot contain a value is by removing that and actually putting null. Okay, null. Okay, that's it, the null value. And you see we actually get null printed at the terminal. That meaning that this address can actually hold a string or can be null. Okay, that's what we actually mean by a value being nullable. Okay, so and you see that when we say an optional string, right, we mean that by default, because we know that by default all values are initialized with the null value. Okay, with the null value. So, and that's why you see here, if I try to print this, it means the final variable cannot be raised because it's potentially unassigned at this point. Okay, but behind the scenes, this value initial is that's been assigned null. Okay, we can actually go like at this null and print that to the terminal. Okay, so null denotes okay, yeah, and like I made mention, you can actually add a question mark to it to denote that the variable is null. Okay, it's a nullable one. You can put int, you can even say final integer each. Okay, you can do that just by adding that in front of the value. And note that that means the absence of a value, means this means the absence of a value. Okay, so so if you don't have a data type, okay, if you don't have a data type and you're just working with the value of null, then that understands that that data type to be of type of dynamic. Okay, dynamic is just what I did earlier by saying this is equals to null. Okay, and when you print, okay, the print statement was out, but when you print, you actually get null. Okay, you actually get null. So that's just what I'm trying to say. That when you don't have, when you're working with the value of null, that means you're actually telling that your data type is of type dynamic. Okay, for example, if I was to, let's just remove this. Okay, here we can print, here I can say address is equals, let's do again 123 main, or let me just say 123. Okay, okay, because of the final. Okay, yeah, the values can be reassigned, but what I'm just trying to say is that it's this pretty the same thing, right? So if you say address, you're going to get null. Okay, so now you can also compare nullable values. Okay, you can actually compare them. For example, let's say we had let me take this out. Let's say for example we had int age is equals to 20. Okay, and we say here we can say age is equals to null, and let's try to print age and let's see what it's going to give us. Age. Okay, so you actually see that null. Okay, so this null actually means that either it, like we had experiment, either it contains a value or it don't. And here we actually did some assignment. Okay, so now what I was trying to say by comparing nullable values is that, for example, we can say age is equals to null. Okay, now we can go ahead here and print some values and say, for example, let's say print age is null. Okay, age is null, and we can come to the else statement. Okay, and say age is not null. All right, so let's go ahead and let's try to run that and see what we get. So age is not null. Okay, now this one that you actually see here, the operand can't be null, so the condition is always false. It's because I was just trying to say it's because that is trying to be, I won't actually say the word, yeah, that is trying to be smart. Okay, it's trying to be smart by going ahead of us, reading this value, then actually telling us that okay, this value already holds 20. Okay, so it can never be null. But suppose we had a function, let's just say void, okay, let's just say determine, I'm just going to call it that determine, let me just call it determine null value. Okay, so we're going to say it takes in an int age, and suppose we move this down here. Let's see whether we still get that. Okay, and let's comment this out and let's call for determine age. Okay, so here you actually see that we don't get that one. Why? Because in this context that doesn't really get what we're trying to do. Okay, that's why we don't get that error printed. That's why we don't get that error printed out again. Okay, so that's why we don't get that particular one that we're getting in the beginning, because here that doesn't actually, it's trying to be smart, but here it can actually understand the context. Okay, so if we go ahead and still do the that optionals and we still get age is not null, but if we go ahead and just leave it like that and we get age is null. Okay, so that's just what I was saying in the beginning, that by default all values are initialized with the null value. Okay, so we can go ahead and remove this. We can remove this, and comment out this. Okay, so we are done with that. I think we can just comment this out. Okay, yeah, we can just comment that out. Okay, so optional data types in Dart are by default, like I earlier said, right, initialized to the null value, and we also have what we call the null assignment operator. I think I made mention of that in the beginning of the video. Okay, so for example, let's say we have something like string, okay, first name. Now this is what now this is what the null assignment operator looks like. Null assignment okay, operator. So this is what it looks like. This question mark equals to, okay, this is what it looks like. So how does it come to use to help us? Okay, by doing this. So for example, say we had a value we wanted to determine. Okay, so let's for example say const, um let's just say value, let's just say some value. Okay, some value is equals to first name first name. Okay, and we say for example Austin. Oh, const variables can be assigned initialized values, so let's just use final. So what we are actually trying to do here is that, what does this null assignment operator means? It means take the value, it means if the value on the left hand side is null, then take the value on the right hand side and assign to it. Okay, that's just what it means. That means take the value, or let me just better say this, it means take the value on the right hand side and assign to the left hand side if and only if the left hand side is null. Okay, so for if we try now to print first name, if we try to print first name, and we also try to print here first name, let me just say something. Okay, if we just go ahead and say that. Okay, that's nice. So you see that initially first name, first name is null. Okay, it's null because it doesn't be assigned anything. Okay, but we have not done some assignment by saying that, okay, If this side is null, then assign Austin to it. Okay, and it has assigned Austin. That's why we're able to get this value. That's how this null aware operator, yeah, the null assignment operator works. Okay, so let's move on. So now, methods we can get nullable values. Okay, yeah. So we can get methods like the length, right? Because, for example, let me just comment this out. Okay, let's just go again and say, yeah, string. Let's say first name is equals to, let's just say Austin. Okay, Austin. Now, say we wanted to get the length of this first name, okay, and store it in a variable. Let's just say const length, okay, and let's say first name dot length. Const variable can be initialized to the const value. Okay, I guess we'll just go with that. So what actually happened here is that we can actually get this because let's go ahead and try to print the length and see what actually happens before I try to explain. So we're going to set that optionals. Okay, 6. That's fine. That's nice. Okay, because here that is able to read. Go ahead and say, okay, this has a value already. Okay. So suppose now we didn't have this. You see, we're going to get this error. The property length can be unconditional access because the receiver can be null. So actually what all of that just means, to summarize it, it just means that you have assigned, actually by default, the first name contains the value of null and you can't call null length. Okay, it doesn't make sense. You get? So that's what is actually happening here. And so to be able to do that, to be able to, let's say, bypass such, we use the null aware operator, which is just question mark full stop. Okay, question mark question mark full stop. I don't know why it is showing me that code, but I'm pretty surprised why I get that code here. Interesting. Can I just, let's try to see that out. Okay, undefined length. Let me just say this is an int. Okay, value of type int can be assigned to that. In fact, let's just use for it can be reached. Okay, so this is actually dead code. We've actually reached a dead code part. Okay, so I guess it was giving us a dead code simply because at the same time, like with respect to what I said earlier, is that once more again, that is trying to be smart here. Be smart by going ahead of us, trying to read this and telling us that this is a dead code. Okay, that this won't work. But like I said, let's go ahead and try to put this in a function. Let's just create a function to say void print length. Okay, let's just say void print length, and let's take in an optional string. Let's just call it str. Okay, and we paste that code here. Okay, and find, I'm going to say str. Okay, and should in case not should in case, now let's go print length here and pass first name. uh, okay, and let's print that. Okay, we get null. So now you see we don't get any more dead code. So like I told you earlier, that was just trying to be I would think I would use the word too smart to go ahead of us and try to read value and already determine what was done. But in this context now, it can actually be that smart to be able to get what we're trying to do. But hope you've gotten the idea of what I was trying to do here. Okay, so move. I'm just going to copy this, cut it as, and put it here, and then just comment out this. Okay, so we are done with that. And yeah, so that was that. And also we also have the double question mark. I think that double question mark is actually what is called the null operator. I think that one was just called the optional, I think. Something null checker. I think that's what it's called, the null checker. Something like that if I'm not mistaken. So to go forward, so we also have what we call the null operator. Okay, the null aware operator, which is just this, which is this. Okay, so how does this work? Mm, it takes the value on the right hand side, okay, or retains it only if the value on the left hand side is null. Okay, so let's let's go ahead and just print, for example, or let me just say some null value. Okay, I'll just go ahead and just do it here, question mark, and just say not null. Okay, yeah, I'm sure you saw that already. I didn't define any value. Okay, so I'm going to say final some null value is equals to, let's just leave it like that. Okay, okay. I don't really know why that is so much trying to be. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to assign the value of null. Okay, that should solve our issue. That will solve our issue now. So this is what it actually does. Okay, so it's this null operator. What it does is that it checks if the left hand side is null, then it's going to remove the value on the right hand side. Okay, it's not going to do any assignment, unlike the null assignment operator. Okay, the null assignment operator, this one is actually different in the sense that it doesn't do any assignment. Okay, it just, let me say, chooses. Okay, if this is null, then it's actually going to use this. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to do that. Clear the terminal, see that, and you see, so it actually chose, since some null value was null, it actually chose the other one. Okay, so we can actually even do multiple chaining. Okay, we can even go again ahead and say um, null value. Okay, I'm just going to copy this and say null value. Okay, and I could even store this, say final string, and say value. Okay, and I will just come here and say value. Okay, unexpected identifier. That's good already. And you say we still get not no. Okay, we are able to chain the values up. That's just what I mean. So we are now going to move on and also talk about um list. Okay, list, because we have seen this with string, with ints, so the same applies to ints also, to ints, to doubles. Okay, so let's go ahead and also work with list. Okay, now suppose we had something like this, list of string. Let's just go with names. Okay, right. So now, hmm, okay, so what would this actually mean if you saw this, or if you saw this? I think let me just provide the three case scenarios. Okay, so the first case is like that, the second case is like this, and the third case. So for issues of error, I'm just going to say names one and names two, but just keep in mind that names one is the same, is the same as names is the same as names one as names two. Okay, it's just for the sake of the error that I'm trying to remove, that I'm trying to both make this. Okay, and yeah, so what will this actually mean? So this actually means that these names, when initialized, should be like this. Okay, it's the list of strings. But now, once you see it with a question mark, once you see it with a question mark outside, like this names one, it means that the entire list can be null or contain names. So that means the entire list can be null or contain names. So this is what it means. So the entire list can be null or contain names like Austin, Elizabeth, okay, Jane, and many more. Okay, so this is just what it means, or it can just be null. Okay, so now once you see this for the third option, what does it mean? The third option means the list can actually contain strings. Yeah, you got it. The list can actually contain strings strings or null, or the null value, or both at the same time. Okay, means we can have something like this. We can have Austin, we can have Mary. Yeah, let's just go ahead with Mary. And we can also have null among it. Okay, we can also have null among it. And if we try to print names too, okay, clear the terminal and bring that again. So you actually, so we get null added to it. Okay, if we had to print for one, you see we actually get null as our output. Okay, so that's just what the different cases mean. Now let's say we had to do a powerful combination of, so if we had this and this, you can already guess that. Okay, you can already guess what it means. So it just means both the list can contain both the list, it means both the list and its content can be null. Okay. Yeah, I know, that's just how that is. Okay, so I just hope my explanation was being able to be understood. Yeah, so both the list can be null. Okay, so I think we didn't even have to use names too and all of that. We could just go ahead and say again here, names is equals to null. Okay, we could go ahead and say names is equals to um Austin. Don't know why I would spell Austin with the G at the end. Austin, John. Okay, and also add null to it. So yeah. That's just, and as well as it can just contain just Daniel, okay, and millennium. Okay, so that's it. So we're going to move to the next part. Okay, hope that was pretty explanatory, and that's how we work with list. Okay, and now suppose we had that and we try to, let's go ahead and say we wanted to add some values. Let's say names dot art. Okay, hello. So here you actually see that it doesn't show us an error because we have initialized the list, the variable name, with an empty list. Okay, with an empty list, so it doesn't show us an error. But suppose we had to do this. Suppose we said it was null. Let's see. Okay, so now you see the add can be conditionally invoked. Okay, so we are forced now to use the, I think, the null checker. Okay, the conditional null checker, I guess that's what it's called, by doing this. Okay, so if we try to print, let's try to print names and see what we get. No, we are here. Bring up the terminal, clear it off, and say dart optionals. Okay, you see we get no. Why do we get no? Because this statement here actually means, okay, I want to add hello world to um this names list. Okay, but call this question mark full stop here means call this method only if this is not null. Okay, so you see that only if the names is not null. Okay, we're just like saying, okay, if names is null, don't call this method. Okay, it's just going to print out the value which null contain, the value which names contain, which is actually null. Okay, which is actually null. Okay, that's just what it has done here. But if it was like this, okay, and we did this, we get the warning, and we actually get hello being added. Okay, we actually get, forget about the warning down here. It's just some tab analysis, a null aware operation. Okay, has been established, which excludes null. Yeah, just it's just trying to tell us that this can be null because we have done this. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to clear my terminal, and yeah, that's just for that. So with that also, we also have this exclamation mark. Okay, when using this, and if you do this, it means you're force wrapping means, and you should know when to use this, because when you actually do this, you're actually telling that you are sure that this names doesn't contain null, or it's not a nullable variable. Okay, you're assuring that I'm sure that names is not a nullable value, and if you press enter, you're going to crash. Okay, you're going to crash the application. Okay, so yeah, that's it. So only use this when you're sure in your code that um the value that you're going to get is not null. But I won't advise you to use this always with the question mark. Okay, just with the question mark we get that end, because if we assign no, if we assign no, then the code or the image goes away. So can also do we can also promote the type to not null. Okay, what does that mean? We can do type promotion of null variables. Okay, so suppose we set final string. Okay, first name is equals to null. Okay, and we said if the first name is equals to null. Okay, we're just going to do the same thing. First name is not null, first name is not null. Okay, copy that, and we're going to say come to the else. Now see what happens in the else. What we have already done the check here by saying, okay, if first name is equals to null, then print this. But here, suppose we wanted to get the length. So suppose we wanted to get the length of that. Okay, so let's say first name dot length. Okay, and let's assign that. Let's put that in a variable. Let's say final length is equals to length, and then let's print the length. Okay, so now this is what we mean by type promotion. You see that in the else block we don't make use again of the null checker, right? The question mark here, because we have already done some sort of type promotion or some sort of assertion that this is the part where if it is equals to null, then run this. But here is the part where if it is not equals to null. Okay, yeah, so that's just what we mean there. So if I even try to do this, you see, it actually shows me the one message that the receiver can't be null. So the nullable operator, that is unnecessary. Okay, so we have done that. Okay, let me see what's next is left to be done. Okay, so we're now going to dive into the last part of this. Okay, we're going to dive into the last part of this. So let me comment this out, and we are going to, well, I'm going to go a little bit deeper by using extensions. Okay, I know it's extensions. We haven't yet worked on extensions, so there's a chapter coming up for that, so talking about extensions. But what extensions are just, I'll just call them tools that come become handy. Okay, they help you just increase the functionality of your code. Okay, so we are going to what we are going to do here is a last example where we actually check for a value if it is null or not null, and um, provide default values for it. Okay, for instance, if we're working with a null integer, okay, nullable integer variable, let's say, and you come across that along the code we didn't provide the value for that. Okay, that extension is going to provide a default value for it. Okay, it could be 0, it could be maybe 1. Okay, so a lot of talking. Okay, let's stop the too much talking and let's just dive into coding so you better understand what I'm trying to say. So how do we do that? How do we write extension? So say extension. Okay, extension default. I always love writing my extensions at the top, but it's okay. Extension. Okay, extension is also a keyword. Okay, so say extension, we're just going to call it default if null. Okay, and we're also going to make use of generics. Okay, generics is a way of writing reusable code, okay, without actually changing the structure too much, but we're going to come on that. Okay, there's a chapter for that, so we're going to call it C on objects, on optional objects. Okay, so That will be that. I don't know why I'm getting this error here. T, should that be the case? Okay, expected type name. Let's just go ahead, okay, and let me just see something. Is it objects, optional objects? But I'll come back to that T. Let's just go ahead. So this T just means here the type, okay, the data type of this. Okay, you're going to understand. Let me just go ahead. So we're going to say the return type is going to be T default, default if null. Okay, it's going to be a function that takes in the T default value. Okay, the default value. And so I'm going to do something here. Okay, I'm going to use a shadow. Why am I using a shadow here? This, okay, variables must be declared against what? Yeah, final. This shadow. So the reason why I'm actually using, forget about the errors. We're going to go extensions can't declare instance fields, try to remove the instance to making it statics. So the reason why we are using shadow here, if I let's just finish writing the code, I'm going to come back and explain all this. So we're going to say return shadow. So here it's just like we're trying to make use of already all what we learned. Okay, so except it's been made static. So let me say something static final by reference to the this expression. Hmm, hmm. Okay, let's just move that out. Okay. I think I actually get where my issue is coming on from. So let's just say this. The value of type name is expected on object. Okay. Okay, guys. So I think well, okay, I've seen the error. I think we just have to remove this out and remove this and go ahead and set this here. So what we're actually trying to say here is there's an extension default value of t on all data types. Okay, this is actually what this t means. Okay, on all the data types, and then we have provided a little function here called default if null, in which the this particular data type of on which we are calling this extension function on, it's going to get the default value. Okay, and this keyword here actually references the data type that we're making reference to. So let me just provide an example here so that we can better understand what is happening. So I'm going to say string. Okay, so string optional, let's just say nullable string. I think I can just leave it like that. We're also going to say int nullable int. Okay, I'll just leave that to like that. Then we're going to say string non nullable string. Okay, we're going to say that's equals to this nullable string here dot. We're not going to call the function we just the extension we just made. Okay, by saying default if null. So we are here. We're going to giving the passing the default value. Okay, so if I try to, what I was trying to say is that the data type here is a string, right? If I try to pass in a number, let's see. Okay, so you actually see the argument type int can be assigned to the parameter type string. So that's why I said generics are really powerful, and in that, it's really the main concept. Okay, so I think I've taken this video a little bit too long. Okay, just a few minutes again. So yes, so we can actually assign you. So this int here is actually what we use as this t, this t here, this data type here. So that's what we get, okay, and it's showing us this error. So let's say our default value was an empty string saying nothing here or nothing to see, and let's go ahead and just do some modifications for the next and say here we have int, and here it's non-nullable int, okay, and here it's nullable int, and you see here we still have that same error that's been shown to us saying the argument type string can be assigned to the parameter type int. Okay, so that means we actually have to provide an integer here. So let's just say the default value was 0. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to print that. So we're going to say print non-nullable string, and I think we can go ahead and also print non-nullable int. Okay, so many position arguments we want from. We could, well, what we could do here is that we could use the variable placement, okay, by actually providing strings, okay, and doing this reading each variable at a time. Okay, so we actually remove this and say remove this also, okay, provide placeholders, and also this, or we could actually even as a warning says just remove the braces and just go ahead and do this. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. So with that, I'm just going to break it down for simplicity, okay, to different lines. So the next one I'm going to say print, okay. All right, so what do we have here? So the magic is about to occur. What are we going to have? Okay, we actually have, it's like we imported that HTML. Okay, this is, oh, imported that HTML. This is not required. Okay, so let's clear that. That was actually an error of ours. Okay, so let's redo that again. Let's see. Okay, so now we get that. So you see the default value of the not nullable string here is nothing here, and this can actually be pretty useful to you, okay. And also I don't know if I mentioned you don't write extensions in the main function, okay. Extensions are not written in the main function because that understands the word extension as a keyword, okay. It's reserved in that, and that's the pattern you follow when writing codes using the extension keyword, okay. You write them outside of the main function, okay. They are just like helpers to help boost your code. So this could actually be pretty cool in us writing code in which we don't provide, we provide default values, okay, and should in case it happens that along the line we forgot to initialize the value, okay, with a proper value, okay, it's this extension is going to help provide us with the default values, and it works same with bool doubles, okay. So thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, okay. See you in the next chapter.